It's 10 o'clock. Why don't we all stand for our pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic. Thank you all. Okay, today is Tuesday, January 31st, 2023, and we're at the beautiful Sheridan, Denver downtown in the Windows room. Call the meeting to order. And with that, our second item will be amendments to the agenda. And I believe we really just have one amendment today, and that is on the proposed calendar. Or the actual agenda items, we really have to do today.
No change.
We're very good. Okay, with that, let's go to approval of meeting minutes for December 14th, 2022.
So,
Okay, second, discussion. Okay, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, we got our minutes for December 14th. Next item is board elections. Come on, you'd like to get us started today, and hopefully we'll smooth it a different way. Okay.
My name is Juan. I'm an assistant Aeronautical Board. Pursuant to statute, the board elects officers every year. And those officers are the chair, vice chair, and secretary. We're holding the election for this meeting today. So first, I'm going to read the job description for the position, the call for nomination, and final call for voter nomination. So the first officer is the office of the chair. The responsibility for the chair is to preside over board meetings, to represent and when appropriate speak, to provide leadership to the board and the division, to call the meeting inappropriate special meetings, going to CRF 24-403 and executive session. And to create subcommittees to provide members of the board. Do we have any nominations to share?
nominate Kenny. Second.
Mr. Mayor, you may nominate as chair of the board. Are you going to accept his nomination?
Yes.
All right, at this time, I'd like to call for a vote approving Mr. Mayor as chair of the board. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Hearing none, congratulations to the elected chair.
Thank you. It's an honor to serve you all. Thanks.
The next officer is vice chair. The responsibility of vice chair is to assume the duties and responsibilities of the chair and the head of the chair. Do we have any nominations for vice chair?
I'd like to nominate Ken. Second.
Sir Olson, you've been nominated as vice chair of the board. You accept that nomination?
I do.
At this time, I'd like to call for a vote to please, all in favor, say aye. Opposed, say no. You're done. Congratulations, Olson, and elected.
Thank you all.
And finally, the last officer is the secretary. The responsibility of the secretary is to continue to meet the responsibilities of the vice chair. And we have the vice chair. Do we have any nominations?
I nominate Jeremy Sabal as senator.
Second.
It's not like we didn't nominate as
Yes.
at this time, I call for a vote approving this also as. All those in favor, say aye. All those opposed, again. Here we go. All the officers in the second bill, congratulations on the officer board,
Thank you, Papa. All right. Well, congratulations. So let's go ahead and start with our member board reports. Let's start with New Getty down there. Mr. Malia.
Thank you. I've got kind of an abbreviated report. As you alluded to, we've got a brand new baby at home and we're a little busy. But after talking to Greg, they're kind of still dealing with the new floodplain maps. Apparently the state is mapping the entire state, and some of those boundaries with floodplains are changing. And I don't know if he was kind of warning, people in the public that might affect some airport landing and something down the road. I haven't seen it yet, but they're kind of working through that. Greg down at Pueblo wanted to remind everybody in February, the museum is doing the flying event. If you come in and you and your one guest can get it free to fly into the museum down in Pueblo, which is awesome. I'm not sure if you haven't been there, you should check it out. It's a great museum. We're still working on getting some airport managers together. It's kind of pushing more towards March up in Akron. They want to host us together a nice little restaurant there, cafeteria, cafe kind of thing. Just a chance to do some networking with some of the Eastern Colorado airports. Of course, everybody's invited, but we're still working with that, and we've all been dealing with some weather in this state lately. We're all still buried under snow pretty much. So as that situation improves, we'll get a better date down for this kind of networking opportunity. A lot of airports out in the Eastern Plains are operated by city appointed folks that don't have aviation backgrounds. So if nothing else, it's an opportunity for them to get together and exchange ideas and best practices and just kind of help each other out, because it's pretty tough getting thrown into a situation like that if you're not familiar. Quick update for Burlington, we're getting a simulator grant going. We teamed up with the other two airports and got a great discount on the simulator. Those are going into production on sometime in February, beginning of February. So we're hoping to have some simulators by April, May timeframe. Really excited. We want to make sure we get the word out. All these simulators are public use. Anybody can come use them, and we'll try to get some networking and a little bit of media on that so that people in the state can come out to any of those airports. We're really excited that we got a $10,000 discount per simulator by kind of package of it, all three of them together, and they're really great simulators. So really excited about that. That's about all I have, Mr. Chair.
That's excellent. Hey, Chaz, sorry, I skipped you there.
No, you're fine. Okay.
All right.
Chaz Tedesco, I sit on the board as representative of the Eastern Plains. Also, I am the county commissioner representing Colorado Aeronautical Board. Just a couple updates. I see our airport manager here. I just want to give you a couple updates. As everybody knows, everybody's kind of plotting into the same thing. We're dealing a lot more and more with noise from airports and what that means. How do we, as airport representatives, how do we express that to our public on the need for those flights and what those flights contain? We're having discussions at the legislative branches, and they're very concerned because of the amounts of complaints that they're getting in as to what we do. This board has been very, very responsive to that. Although we don't really go into that arena, we want to help in any way we can. At the airport, Colorado Aerospace Board itself, good news, we'll have a fence up, I hope, by the middle of this year, so it will change the aspect of the airport immensely. We're working with other airports and trying to provide grants. We just got back from Gunnison, which was an amazing trip. If you haven't been there, please go. They incorporated some geothermal in, which is, if you know who I am, I'm a new guy from way back, and geothermal is one of the best things I think you can ever do in our society, and they have truly incorporated that into their operations, and I think it's something that anyone could look into, either retrofitting or rebuild. Other than that, I think that we just need to pay attention to EV, and we also need to pay attention to the unleaded gas issues that are coming forward. But it's a pleasure to serve on this board. I don't know that I've ever learned as much as fast as I have here, and there's some amazing people on this board. So thank you.
Hey Chaz, the next thing you know, you'll be an airport manager. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Kent Holsinger, representing West Slope Governments on the CAB. Echoing what Chaz said, we had a confirmation hearing for several of us yesterday, and noise was an issue that was brought up by a Louisville senator at length yesterday. As everyone knows, winter is definitely here, but with it, on the bright side, is much higher than normal snowpack at this time of year. That's great news. Hopefully it'll help fill our reservoirs up and help mitigate against wildfires this summer. I've been following with interest the continued developments on the PFAS front. It seems like every other week there's something new happening in that regard. And also recent news, the Biden administration announced its revisions to the Clean Water Act regulations, or WOTUS, and any of you involved in construction activities might find yourself embroiled in federal permitting, whether it's a dry ditch or a arroyo or what have you, as expansive as these regulations are. So keep an eye out for that. Not only does that trigger federal permitting under the Clean Water Act, but if there are any listed species or habitats, then you've also got an ESA consultation with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. So life can be complicated quickly in that regard. From an aviation perspective, just really excited with the cameras on the AWACS and what a tremendous success that has been. Continue to get great feedback on that, and appreciate the chance to be here.
Nice. Mr. Lee.
Right. So I'm Steve Lee. I represent the Airport Association, CAOA, on the board here. Assuming the Senate actually follows through and confirms it, I think it would come. Just a couple of quick updates. Since we're going to be talking a lot during the conference anyway, I won't go into depth much, but wanted to say, first of all, thanks again to the board and to the Aeronautics Division for collaborating with CAOA to have this meeting here at the conference. It makes a big difference, and I think helps airports operators that are traveling to get more use out of the time that they spend. So thank you for that. We talked in past meetings a little bit about training. CAOA has received from the board a grant for training, and just wanted to share that we're working on putting together a 3 or 4 day course on airport electrical and lighting. That is going to be in September. It's going to be hosted at the Northern Colorado Regional Airport. And it's really a valuable, I think, kind of training that helps airports of all sizes. Smaller airports are able to send people for free. Even bigger international airports can send people these trainings. So thanks to the board for the grant there and the division for the help on that. And then the last thing is just a reminder that CAOA implemented a scholarship fund. They awarded their first 2 scholarships to students. I'm not going to say who they are, but a lot of people will be at the conference. They'll be in the list, so please congratulate them and see them. Look forward to meeting them. So that's all related to my report.
Very good. Okay, sure.
Okay, so here.
My name is Tracy Bell. I'm the pilot organization representative for the state of Colorado Aeronautical Board, and I have my pilot organization report. I'm going to start with Colorado Pilots Association. As of now, the Colorado Pilot Association has 668 active members. For 2023, they have backcountry fly-ins scheduled, and they are going to be in June in Marble and in August at Dolores Point. 2023 member general aviation fly-ins have also been scheduled by CPA. They are in Kearney and Alliance, Nebraska, Gallup and Truther Consequences, New Mexico, both in Montana, Johnson Creek, Idaho, Vermont, Wyoming, Truman, Texas, in Colorado, Kansas City, Colorado, and Rifle/Richmond, Colorado. Those are the 2023 general aviation plans. So our the College Association, the Jeff People, and President was to be multiple career days. They're coming up this spring, so the Education Committee Board CPA is going to talk at those three. I'm not sure where they are. I can't remember when is at where they have this job. They're going to award a scholarship this summer in June, early June. And they're also donating money to the school in Colorado Springs, which is design their racing insurance. So that's what Colorado Association is doing. The EAA External Aircraft Association is meeting, they have really IUC, Instrument Meteorological Conditions Club. There's 4 points lines, Instrument Meteorological Conditions Club, and there's an Erie Visual Meteorological Conditions Club. And they have the Centennial Young Eagles rally as well. So those 4 organizations are really active right now. They all have meetings, or in January, they're holding more meetings in February. So if you're interested in anything, let me know. I can go with somebody. And their focus is on fly-ins, drones, and building airplanes. The FAA safety team is called FAST, very active. They're now acknowledging credit to the Colorado Pilot Association for the local GA pilots. It's called CPA Presents, Colorado Pilot Association Presents. And their programs are really well attended. If you ever get any information about a CPA Presents, if you're a CPA member, you get that. Know that the FAST is super important in Colorado. We have FAST representatives all over the state, and maybe consider becoming a FAST representative and working with CPA and getting the word out on FAA safety, being an FAA safety team representative. Their programs and their contents are well attended, informative, safety for the time at this time. The next FAA safety team big event is going to be the ATC remote tower at Fort Collins Loveland. And if you're interested in that, you can talk with me afterward. I can give you some people, maybe Bill Payne, you can talk to you as well. And the CPA representatives for FAST team are visiting with various certified flight instructors all around the Front Range to promote this event, as well as various non-community airspace events as well. Let's see. And also a library safety operations meeting is going to be held in January, and I think that's in Colorado. Not at the airport, but someplace more. If I can let you know if you're interested in the library safety program on FAST. Colorado flying courses are extremely popular in Colorado. You know, many pilots out here look forward to really noting the mountains, encourage them to go to these CPA mountain flying courses in their Colorado Range. This year is going to be at Centennial's hangar, it's the new hangar building, on June 24th and August 19th. So I encourage those people to get safe, know how to fly in the mountains, especially if you're leaving your airports and going to the mountains. Very important. Just so you know, the Colorado Pilots Association is now going to have a classified section on their website. So if you're interested in looking for any career opportunities or have anything to post for your airports, you can let Colorado Pilots Association know that you would like them to post on your classified section. And let's see, let's move on to Colorado Aviation Historical Society is another pilot organization. They have a new website, and it plans to, not the website, but the organization plans to expand the Aviation Hall of Fame annual event. If you know of anybody at your airport or anybody in Colorado who is worthy of being in the Aviation Hall of Fame, Colorado Aviation Historical Society is who you want to talk to. And they wanted me to let you all know that the famous Eagle Rock aircraft is now moving from the Rockies to moved there from Pueblo. Colorado Seaplane Association, Ray Hawkins is here, and we on the board would like to congratulate Ray for in June, he earned his seaplane rating at one of our Colorado reports, and he's going to have a in-depth report. He speaks to us all about Colorado Seaplane Association. Thank you, Ray, for being here. And let's see, we got Aircraft and Pilots Association, very active in Colorado. Their scholarships are due in February, I think on the 8th, is what it is. And also, this is really exciting. I'm going to return to this afternoon. AOPA Foundation, Aviation STEM High School Curriculum, is being represented by an SAO webinar this afternoon at 2:00 Mountain Time. So, NASAO, the National Association of State Airport Officials, has teamed with AOPA to create a webinar. Anybody, if you have an aviation high school curriculum need at your airport, at your hometown, at your airport's hometown, AOPA has these curriculums where they can bring this STEM curriculum into your high schools. So, if you're interested in that, I can also hook you up with that webinar this afternoon at 2:00. The moderator is Mike McHugh, and the speakers are Glenn Honos and Eric Gates. Tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow afternoon, that too, yes. And I would encourage you to sign up for that. Because what we really need is more kids in high school getting interested in learning how to fly, and becoming airport operators, or mechanics, or pilots, or dispatchers. So I'm excited for that. Okay, Women Aviation International has a Mile High chapter. They're very active. They just toured Shaycon, which is the department of control at the IA. And their next tour is going to be at Denver Center in Mama. So more air traffic control. We're trying to get these young gals interested in becoming air traffic controllers. They had a holiday party in November at Flight Pool, which was a big success. Pretty much all of the other organizations in Colorado really big Christmas parties. Big turnout post-COVID, really exciting. If you're not for the these organizations, you should be, because they're very social and have a good time. Let's see. They are Women in Aviation is hosting their international conference in Denver in 2025. So you might want to stick that on your radar that there will be thousands and thousands, I think 3,000 to 5,000 aviators go to the Women in Aviation conferences that they've tended to be in Reno or Long Beach or Nashville, but Eddie's excited, and Kate's probably excited, and Tanya. It's going to be in Colorado in March 2025. Just to have them on the first time out of the gala himself. Colorado 99s, again, very social. They do a lot of flying together. If you know some GA pilots at your airports, get them hooked up with 99s. A lot of good flying that they're having, and they've got a spring conference that most of them are going to attend in Texas in March. Let's see, Civil Air Patrol, extremely active in Colorado. And they take a lot of teachers up on teacher orientation flights. So if your airports have high schools with teachers, in addition to the CAOA STEM high school curriculum, you can also hook them on Civil Air Patrol because you can get some of your teachers at the airports to go on the flights with Civil Air Patrol. With that teacher orientation program, it's called TOP. The folks in Colorado are super active, so I think the facility Civil Air Patrol for that. Great statistics. They do a lot of flight time with their Civil Air Patrol with their youth. And again, in the towns where airports are. You've got young kids who's interested in civil air patrol. It's another great way to get the youth out there, into airplanes and get them. Good statistics on how busy they are, and they also have the STEM kit for high schoolers that, that they can share too. So on top of AOA, you've got some learning and STEM kit as well. So you can never say that your high school is doing anything, to teach kids about aviation, because they do, okay? Let's see, Colorado Agricultural Aviation Association, I do not have a report on it at this time, but, I discussed some of the bills out there for agricultural aviation. And Colorado Aviation Business Association, they have a scholarship that was due on February 1st. They had 16 applicants, and of the 16, 4 recipients were chosen. Each recipient will get $3,000 to use this spring for flight training. The awards are going to be given immediately so they can start flight training on the summer whenever the snow melts. But for now, the awards will be given at their March meeting. Their March meeting for CAOA is March 10th. The time and place is still to be determined. And again, if you would like to be a member of Colorado Aviation Business Association, great group. They had a huge Christmas party. I think they had over 120 people at Zoo Lights. We're great. They're going to have it again at Zoo Lights next year. Let's see. There are 3 legislative bills that CAOA is representing tonight at the legislative session, and I won't go into those because you'll hear about them tonight through here at the legislative session. But 3 great. We're all excited. You're on board for those bills. And I'll let them discuss those. But if you're interested in that, CAOA would be a great organization for you to be a member of. I've already talked about the FAA safety team, and lastly, Emily Howell Warner just celebrated, I think yesterday, the day before, her 50th anniversary of getting hired by Frontier Airlines as the first female pilot in the U.S. commercial airlines at Frontier. So that's something to celebrate for her. And then also, in part with that, March 8th is going to be the first annual U.S. Women Airline Pilots Day. And so that's kind of exciting. It kind of goes along with the 50th anniversary of the Colorado Aeronautical. So yeah, that's my organization report. Thank you very much. If anybody has questions or need to hook you up with a contact, I can do so. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Trimby. Mark.
Well, good morning. I'm Mark Valentine. I'm the at-large member on this board, and which means I get to play be the utility batter team. I have for my report a couple observations that I want to share. I noticed that we can every year and a little bit of my opinion sprinkled in all this. First, on January 11th, the failure of the FAA enrollment system is something that impacts all of us, and it's something that we should be aware of, and actually something that we can help with. So, and for those of you that don't know what the enrollment system is, the NOTO stands for Notice of Emissions. This is a system that is used to distribute notices of change that are temporary in nature or happen outside, become effective outside of the effective time and could be published in navigation charts or other documentation that are used in flights. Now, the FAA has said that 11,000 flights were affected across the United States. And the number is quite large. We talk about 491 operations to general aviation pilots who depend on these totals. The system is old, and it is representative of what we saw in the U.S. is representative of what's going on around the world. In my 35 years at Jefferson, I worked directly and indirectly on notice type systems, user. And what you see happening here is spread across the world. The challenge is both in how these are formatted and distributed, CAOA has a standard, but no one adheres to the standard. And at the end of the day, this is where it's relevant to us, especially airports, is that a NOTAM is issued at the discrepancy of, or excuse me, the discretion of the author, which is the originating authority, and that can be an airport, it can be air traffic control, it could be a variety of different sources. As a pilot, I'll tell you that NOTAMs are most important to me in and around the airport environment. And a huge challenge that we have is the volume of these NOTAMs issues that come out, and sometimes the duration. So I took this from somebody else, but it's very true. A NOTAM that says airports active at the airport, I don't think I'd go in the airport where there isn't words boarding. And we see those NOTAMs sitting in the database for years, and really no value to pilot. So I would ask you, for those of you who are airport operators, is occasionally look at the NOTAMs that have been issued, that you've issued, or your folks have issued for your airport, and look to see are they really still valid? They still really relate to safety and safe operations? Are they relevant? And are they necessary? Because again, the volume is incredible. By the way, there's a number of systems out there that are being worked on, or they're available to pilots to filter those NOTAMs. The FAA is working on the system. They started in 2019. The first phase will be completed in 2025, and phase 2 is scheduled to be completed in 2030. So that gives you a little bit of a sense of the complexity of the system. So this is a big deal, and it does impact all segments, all players in the industry. The second observation that just really a little bit of comment. I had a good opportunity, or the fortunate opportunity to spend last week in Park City with a number of generation manufacturers, Amazon, parts of Colorado, TDM, Redwood, simulators, and so on. And as we sat around the meeting, they all talk about the challenges that they continue to have in supply chain. And it is impacting, not just the manufacturers, but all of us. My example is that I ordered a Champion oil filter for my Sportsman. I had to change the oil. I last year Sportsman on a fairly regular basis. I ordered that from Screw Aircraft Screws into the pretty supply of aircraft parts on September 4th. And when I was getting on the airplane to fly on the 28th of January, it showed up my house. So I'm not sure how the flight schools and maintenance organizations, those are working airports and finding availability of parts, but just an observation. Well, that's one that still continues to affect the industry that we're in. Third, just by way of FYI, there is a middle school at Centennial Airport, Wisconsin Academy, which is a public charter school for 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. They're going through their charter renewal in the Cherry Creek School District for next year. This is the 4th year of the school. And if you're not familiar with it and interested, there's a great website, ColoradoAeronautical.org. But this is a great place as this board is very concerned, and the division is very concerned about how we bring young people into the industry, reaching them at a young age, and in schools is recent. Which also brings me to the last Wings Over Rockies, the Captain Jefferson Foundation, Wings Over Rockies has scholarship applications, scholarship process open until February 17th. The foundation is giving 22 $12,000 scholarships to young people aged 15 to 18 learn to fly. And by the way, yeah, so I've announced that every year. This year it's gone from $10,000 to $12,000 because of the cost. For those that, young people that apply that won't reach the right age 16 to solo, there's a $7,200 per machine flying. You can find that application on the Ways Over Rockies website under education, and there's a tab underneath there that says flight training scholarships. The money is provided generously from the James C. Ray Foundation to Wings, and that process is underway. And so I asked for this last year, and you all responded. And asked again this year, if you know young people, it's open to again 15 to 18-year-olds who live in Colorado. We really want more outside of just the front range, and we're able to get a number of candidates last year from other parts of the state. So go home if you know a young person that's hungry to learn to fly. This is a great way to get it done. And then I'll end with comment from my same comment my board members have made is it's an honor to be here with CAOA and get to share our time with you. And you get to see a little bit about what we're doing. I think more importantly, we get to learn a lot about it. Thank you for having us.
Excellent, thank you, Mark. It's the last Western Sloper on the panel here. Just don't want to say that the highlight I would say over the last several months was I also did get to attend the grand opening of the new terminal in Gunnison, and just wanted to compliment what I think was so impressive is not only did the director Rick Lamport allow us to come in, but he also showed us what was going on behind the scenes and really illustrated the many challenges that he had to go through. And I think, and forgive me, Rick, if I say this correctly, it's probably not exactly what you said, but rebuilding that terminal, complete redo of that terminal was like, was it rebuilding an engine while it's still running, you know, and he had to do it over a season, a whole ski season. And I think originally it was supposed to be 2 seasons, but they were able to get it done prior to getting going into this last season. So, but it was just absolutely impressive, the team that he has, but also illustrates the tremendous, what it does. It truly does take a community, and it also takes teamwork with the state Division of Aeronautics as well as the FAA, and have all that come together like that, and to see a beautiful facility like that is just impressive as well. So just hats off to that. I really enjoy it. I know Dave's probably gonna talk a little bit more about it in his director's report, so I didn't want to do too much, but it is snowing a bit on the western slope. Even me, I've been getting involved with snow removal a lot more than I really want to, but yeah, there was one period of time about 2 weeks ago where we had 2 days, we had less than a quarter-mile visibility average the entire time, not one operation, and you're getting anywhere from almost 3 to 4 inches in an hour of snow. So it was pretty insane. And I think all my crew is tired of snow at this point, ready for next one beach. So gotta suck it up and get through these last 2 months. But things are going very well. At the ski areas, I think I just checked, we've already done over 160 inches of snow through January. So I think we're on target for at least 300 inches this year. So the time to go skiing, that's for sure. So that's all I have. I think next item that we go into is the director, or how about public comments? Is there anyone that would like to offer any comments or observations? You got an audience. Seeing that? There'll be another opportunity. So, all right, with that, well, let's go into our chair report. Director Elaine.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. Just a couple of things that haven't been touched on already. We're still working on the procurement for our alternatively powered aircraft infrastructure study with the National renewable energy lab. And this is not an exaggeration. 30 years of doing public procurement, this has been the longest procurement I've ever done. We're on 10 months now, trying to negotiate terms between the state of Colorado and the U.S. Department of Energy that pursues that. It's been fun to watch. They wrestle back and forth on contract language, but the good news is, I love that. Yesterday, we're going to get NREL working on that study. For those of you that have not been paying attention to any of the meetings before, we are doing this really a cool partnership with NREL right here in town, first state partnership with NREL in the country, to have them take a look at our airport system, line that with all these cool new technologies coming down the pipe, battery electric airplanes, hydrogen electric. We'll talk a little bit about this at lunch, and get us to start thinking about the infrastructure needs that our airports will have to support that new technology, and where would it go? We can't afford to put it at every one of our 76 public use airports, but I think this new technology is going to allow us to really start changing the way people move around the state, and we may see new opportunities to have scheduled service between general aviation airports today that don't have service thanks to these new technologies. And I'm really excited because NREL is going to collaborate with NASA and the Langley Research Center to help us do some of those mobility studies. And I'm pleased to introduce Nick Moore, the NASA with NASA. Never thought I'd get to work with NASA, but he's in town to meet with NREL, and we're really happy about that. They'll be really focusing on the mobility piece of that and modeling the way people move around the state, not just by airplane today, but by vehicle, bus, transit, and everything else to help us define that. So thanks for coming out and stopping by. Nick, do you have anything you want to say? I know you're not feeling 100%, but
Still from here.
sure.
So, thank you all for having me. I'm sorry I'm going to be, parting here shortly. We're heading up to home to go chat with our colleagues at NRO about this exciting work. Nat and I had to set up calls with Nat and I with the on aircraft designs, other like on aircraft. And we're going to then see the opportunities coming up in aviation. Associated with these aircraft include a lot of smaller regional flights into non-Part 139 airports, bringing services. So as part of this, you need to be able to top off when we get there. We've been really excited to work with NREL on this. So we've actually been working with Georgia Tech on modeling what could be future traffic scenarios associated. We had been in the mid-Atlantic region, and actually because of our great conversation with Dave, we're going to be modeling Colorado here in our next round of work as part of that. They've been working already. The Georgia Tech team has been working with NREL to superimpose these loads on the airports. We have the airports responding, and sort of build on infrastructure. Is going to be necessary. And we've also been working a little bit with DOT folks just to try to estimate the demand. So really excited about this. Really, it's been great. Days I haven't been able to
Thanks, Nick. I really appreciate you coming out here. We'll look forward to working with you over the next couple of years to knock this study out. So thank you. A couple of other things happening. You'll recall at the December meeting, you all gave technical approval to the Grand Junction State Infrastructure Bank loan for $3.73 million. The SIB loan committee met a week ago today and unanimously recommended approval to the Transportation Commission for that loan. That'll take place in July. We'll back on February 16th. So about 2 months from application to loan underwriting. So that's pretty good. But what I'm really excited about is Angela is going to be, I suspect, the very last aviation SIB loan that has to go to the Transportation Commission. We've been working internally with CDOT's Division of Accounting and Finance and our government affairs folks that oversee the Transportation Commission. We are actually going to remove the Transportation Commission approval step from aviation loans because you all are a type 1 board, just like the Transportation Commission is. You raised the question about, well, what value does that extra step add? It makes more work for the Transportation Commission. It takes longer to make the process happen. Everybody agreed. So nothing with the financial due diligence changes. All of that process will still stay the same. They're not all going to have to start looking at better employees and debt service ratios. But from now on, we suspect that after probably about April, we'll expect those rules to get updated, and you all will be the sole approver of aviation SIB. So that'll make that process a lot more efficient for me. So thanks to Todd and staff for helping put together a lot of information to support that process. It's going to be successful. So we're excited about that. Just a couple of other things real quick. I'll touch on, again, we've heard up here before, we had 4 of our board members went before the Senate Transportation Committee yesterday for their confirmation hearings. There was a whole new committee from last legislative session. The only person who carried over is the chair, Faith Winter, and it was really interesting. In 8 years, I've been holding confirmation hearings with board members. It was the first time, it was really a tough question I would say ask about noise. What do we as a division do about airport noise? And I think all of you in the room, as airport operators, know that as a division, we're very agnostic on local issues like airport noise. It's not our area of expertise. We're not a regulatory agency. Just like all of you, we don't have the ability to tell airplanes where to fly or where not to fly. So we have typically waived off from trying to participate on things like roundtables, things like that, because we just don't simply have anything to add or do, and it's really not our purview as state agency to get into the muck of your local issues. And with small staff, we don't have the expertise to do that really bad. So that's our official line. If you are ever asked why the division does not necessarily engage in those issues, that's why. Now, it doesn't mean legislature can't try to tell us to do something different. They might ability to do that. So that's what we work for. But for now, any of you, that's for the part of the policy. Any questions, let me know. We are so happy to come give updates about what the state is doing on funding, because that's largely what we're focused on. But again, just want to engage in those issues that you're involved with. Just a couple of other things really cool. Got 2 fancy awards up here, amazingly enough, from the Arizona Council of Engineering Companies, of all places. In December, our division won the best project over $2.5 million for our 2020 system plan, and an honor award for the system plan. And go, why did the Arizona Council of Engineering Companies provide this as an award? It's because Kenley Horn, who did our system plan for us, is basically, it was really cool. They submitted our project. I don't know much about ACDC. Many of the consultants probably do. I understand these are actually pretty significant awards. So kudos to Kenley Horn. I don't know if anybody from Kenley Horn is here today, but thank you for all. I see you back there. All right, cool. Thank you for all your hard work. Thanks, Casey. The very last thing I will just touch on real quick. I never thought I'd ever say there was good news with PFAS related to airports, but I will give you a little teaser. If you stick around for my remarks tomorrow, I'll be joined by David DeYanni from Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment. He's got some good news related to the state and what we're going to do to help purpose PFAS issues. So we've got a collaboration with them. So come learn all about what we're going to have to do with PFAS well tomorrow. So that's it for me, Mr. Chair.
Dave, you want to show up your Pulitzer Prize photo up there?
I'm sorry.
That photo up there at the terminal.
Which, oh, it looks like it's like a check over the meeting. It does. Just the iPhone picture. That's all I did. That's it.
Nice work, Dave, and it's a lot of tremendous accomplishment there. So our next item is number 8, financial update with our business manager, Bryce Chuck. I want to take us through the dashboard.
Sure, thank you, Mr. Chair. So as always, I'll go through these here pretty quickly. If you have any specific questions, feel free to ask, and I'll go through them. So December revenue came in at 5.5 million. Year-to-date revenue for FY23 is 32.6 million. And our division forecast is the quarter marks we update, but there is no update to it. It's still sitting 65 million. So it's still where we originally said that. For breakdown, December revenue was 3.1% higher than forecast, which was 5.3 in revenue. And then in comparison, it was 59% higher than December 2021 and 6% higher November 2022. For January, we are forecasting 5 million in revenue. Just a reminder, as always, we are on our typical month-to-month trends, which we'll look at here when we get to fuel close. We are at a normal projection process. Our cash balance slide. Our 160 balance finished December at 19.5 million, up from the 17.6 that ended in November. The increase is more than expected. It was just due to significantly fewer drawdowns to CDEC than we typically would experience at that time of year, which will catch up here in future months. I know this month has been a big month for it already. So
That's just a delay in that, which to draw down the cash balance as much as normal. So cash balance is expected to stay relatively flat in January, and it's been around 1920. Our cash disbursements by month, again, nothing out of the ordinary, still following normal trends. We did disperse 3.3 million in December for tax revenue, 3.1 of which is sales tax, 230,000 excess for Avjet, and then 18,000 for Avgas. Our contingency analysis, like I said, the CAB has approved the CA program issue of 14 million. As you can see, the top of the blue line projected cash balance is way ahead of our projected CDAG balance, as well as our contingency balance as well. So overall, from a cash perspective, we're very healthy. For the contingency balance, we continue to use the worst case numbers, 35 gallons on the Denver and $40 barrel oil price. The oil price was significantly higher than that. At the time of this is 80 and was now about 98 units. We're tracking well ahead of worst case forecasts. And as always, the next year, we're trying to forecast, we're going to switch over and just make sure that the balance should the bottom fall out, making sure that we are able to meet our commitments for this year and next fiscal year as well. Administration expenses, as always, we have a state mandated 5% cap of the previous year's revenue, so our cap is 2.3 million this year. Our budget was approved last year, this time 765,000. Year to date, we've expended 329,000 on that in FY23, with projections for the year of 65,000. I would have us at 1.7% of FY22 revenue, well below the 5% cap. Fuel flow at Denver, I will point out this looks a little bit different than normal, and the legend is not off. The years are staggered that way intentionally. We've taken 2020 and 2021 off of this chart as we were going through COVID. Nothing was normal, nothing was particularly useful for data as it comes to forecasting. So 2019 being our last normal year, and then 2022 kind of coming out of recovery. You can already see the trends are starting to fall in line typically with what we see as far as the monthly fuel flow as far as increase and decrease. So we've broken that out here, and then we'll show 2023 as populates. There's a small little purple there on the left, which is hard to see in January, but it'll look a little cleaner next month. But as you can see, the fuel at Denver in December was 40.2 million gallons, was up 12% from November's 36 million. And down 4% from December 2021. Significantly higher than the forecast of 37 million, but I did mention last month's financial report. I thought the fuel forecast we were getting was a little bit low based on month overages, and that was in fact the case. Forecast for January forage is 39.2 million, which would be a decrease of 2% from December below, and that is expected based on historic trends. And the final chart is just a look at our monthly division expenditure breakdown. We have about 3.9 million expenditures in this environment. And as normal, airport tax disbursements is the biggest part at 3.2 million. And the CDAG disbursements, like I said, were a lot lower than normal, only 395,000. So that'll tick back up, and then statewide issue for 100,000. Nothing out of the ordinary here, other than the lower expected CDAG, which is why cash balance is higher. That's it for the financial breakdown. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Okay. It's next item is an action item on the additional funding for the education grant. Take us on that.
You bet. So the division is requesting that the CAB approve an increase of 45,000 to the current FY23 budget for education grants, which would bring the total amount approved in FY23 to 245,000. The reason we're asking for this increase is a grant that we'll have you take action on later. We can have the budget available. Typically, this grant, which is an education type grant for CAOA, would have been in the CDAG program, or grant program, but we have an education grant funded. It makes more sense to align that properly as far as the cost of the purpose. That's why we need the approval for such a small amount, but it is just to allocate the proper resources on our budgets. I asked the CAB to take action for a $45,000 increase to the FY23 education budget. And then later on, we will actually go on a specific project, which we just bring in the budget and have.
Okay, yes,
So I move to approve the additional 45,000 for the education grant fund.
And second.
seconded, okay. All, discussion? No, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Seems pretty straightforward, and let's go with our administrative intern request. Kip, you wanna give us an update on that?
Yes, sir. Good morning, Mr. Member and members of the board. Centennial Airport recently applied for it and has been administratively approved for a $21,600 grant. This is going to support hiring of 2 candidates for a year-long airport management internship. And this will help us pay 50% of a $20 per hour wage. So there's no action required by the board since the program was approved by you this time last year. And that's all I have.
Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go to number 9, 2024 division revenue update, budget approvals, price.
Yeah, so it's me again. So we are now coming to the board as we start talking about FY 2024, which kicks off July 1st of this calendar year. So the first couple of things we're seeking board approval for is to fund our administration costs and program delivery costs that are at the division. Just a little bit of historical context, back in 2022, we changed the process for which we allocate our staff salaries from purely administration to split between admin and program delivery as it pertains to all the cost layers. As you approve back then, this just falls more in line with other state agencies and how they handle this. We are looking at, based on our $65 million revenue projected this fiscal year, our statutory cap will be $3.2 million. We are not looking for anywhere in that number. From an admin perspective, we are looking for a total budget request of $825,000. And then for the program delivery cost center, we're looking for a budget approval of $635,000. The total dollar figure of that, as we just apples to apples this historical years, is 1.46. But again, the admin portion of 825, that will be putting us about 1.3% of our forecasted revenue and budget increase. Looking for the board to approve both $635,000 to fund the program delivery costs in 2024 and $825,000 to fund the administration costs.
Any questions? Okay, for a motion,
Okay, I move to approve the 25 program delivery budget and
I'll second.
seconded by Mr. Lee. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. Got your request there for.
Okay, thank you. And the next one here is the motion to approve the FY 2024 aeronautics property budget request. In the amount of $173,200. This is basically our building costs, of the aeronautic division. The reason it's a little bit higher than previous years is we are desperately needing replaced. So we would have that in the CIP for this fiscal year. Again, most of the 65,000 is just normal rent, all the stuff that goes along with maintaining the building, 100,200 is capital costs, most of which are just minimum projects. We're seeking the board approval for $173,200 to fund our building company budget.
Okay, for a motion,
So moved. Second.
seconded. Discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Great. There you go.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, you bet. Okay. Moving right along here for the, oh, this is the big stuff, right? So this is the CDAG 2023 discretionary aviation grant and local grant hearings. So, Todd, you want to kick us off?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and members of the board. So I am very happy to announce the first round of our 2023 grant program. And this will be on a consent agenda. So there were 17 airports that we presented back in the December meeting, kind of went through each of those projects individually, talked through them, and then tried to answer any questions we have. And so honestly, this is one of the easier ones of this list. But 17 airports are looking to get grants totaling, at least the first round here, will be $9,472,450. So huge program this year compared to especially the programs we've seen in the past few years. Again, they're well spread out through the state. That was actually why I wanted to highlight the map on the screen. You can see each one of those circles on the map is where some of this state and local program money is going to. So not only is this a really good program for us, we were really spreading the money throughout the state. I will say a large portion of it is going to pavement projects. Our pavement projects actually account for almost 85% of the program, which is pretty normal for us. And again, I'll highlight the one large project we are looking at for this summer, which is just over $4 million grant application for the Grand Junction Airport to rehabilitate their crossway runway. So again, we're excited to be able to present over a $9 million program for you. But I would be happy to answer any questions you have, but I would be looking for a motion to approve the 2023 state and local grant applications that were reviewed on December 14, 2022, totaling $9,472,450.
Okay, excellent. Are there any questions? Will we seek a motion? Okay, we will propose a motion for approval of 2023 state and local grant applications that we reviewed on December 14th. That totals $9,472,450. So some second by Chaz. Discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Anybody's opposed? Okay. There you go.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Excited to get
That's
this
the
out.
quickest $9 million.
Oh. And a lot of times we do try to, because the program was that large, that is the reason we actually brought back the review program in December. So we were able to answer all those questions and make sure we had everything, all our ducks in a row.
We spent quite a bit of time.
We spent a lot of time.
And thank you, and compliments to you, Todd, and the staff on your efficiency on this occasion. They did all of us understand, even the airport manager. Okay, the next item is, we had to pull a couple out. One is the northern Colorado Regional Airport, Dave.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. Since the meeting on December 14th, just want to stop right at the small dollar and stuff, because it was not one to be reviewed in December, but I had a conversation with Jason McConnell, who's the director of the Northern Colorado Regional Airport. I'm not sure if anybody here is all that familiar with the airport's governance structure there. It's partly the most complicated structure in the state, where the airport is owned by both the city of Loveland and the city of Fort Collins. It's physically located in the city of Loveland and then overseen by our. So it's really complicated there. Jason approached me about helping him fund a governance study to analysis of what the most effective way might be to govern and structure the airport's oversight. It's a great use of see that really expensive investment. Mr. Chair, we separate 25 with the Northern Colorado.
Excellent. Are there any questions? Okay, I'm looking for a motion to recommend the approval of $25,000, 2023 discretionary grant for Northern Colorado Regional Airport for a governance study.
So moved.
Okay, second. Any discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, get your governance study. And we'll talk about it later as far as there's some other things talking about governance that we're looking at legislatively, if I can forget. Okay, let's go to the 10.3 2023 local grant resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes. So I purposely did not talk about some of the documents on your table, just so I want to make sure both of those approvals happened prior. But a list of all 17 of those airport grants are included on each of the tables around. So if you wanted to see some individuals where the money is going throughout the state, not just the map of where those circles are. Please take a look at that. I think we do have copies on all four. And again, the reason I did bring it up is because I didn't want anybody to question the number at the bottom that didn't match my initial number. So, so what I am looking for this is resolution 2023-01, which is approving all of those grants. So the ones I was approved for and Dave did as well. So total for that comes to $9,497,450. So yes, looking for approval of that resolution 2023-01.
Okay, looking for a motion, to approve resolution 2023-02. Or 01. Seconded, okay. Any discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, you got it there.
Thank you.
Nice work, Todd. And let's go to item number 11 for statewide initiatives and budget requests. Todd?
Thank you again. So on an annual basis, staff puts together a packet for you that includes our budget requests for all of our statewide initiatives. And so via statute, the division itself is actually able to use money that doesn't specifically help one airport, but statewide system. And so we have put together a very thorough statewide initiative program. It seems to grow pretty much each year. So on the screen right here is all of those programs. There's 18 lines, but there's only 17 were requested today. The top ones include programs that we've been running for quite a few years now, and hopefully all of our airports are using those. I really hope all of our airports are using those. And then the one that you want to highlight here is number 18 on the list. We've got to talk about our system plan up here, but it's hard to believe we're already talking about our next update to our economic impact study statewide. So our last one was completed back in 2020, which was based on 2018 data. And so we are starting a procurement process this next fiscal year to start our 2025 plan, which will be based on 2023 data. And so that was kind of the one I did want to highlight there. I will say that within the board package, each of these 17 initiatives here had pretty detailed memos following this initial memo. But I would really be happy to answer any questions you have. But in total, we are looking for approval of all 17 of these initiatives totaling $3,125,000. But again, we'd be happy to answer any questions the board has about any of the initiatives individually.
Is there any questions?
I
Yeah.
have a question. On the weather camera, what did that grant go to? I think we talked about this, but I wasn't sure.
Absolutely, great question. So the $50,000 for the weather camera program. So as we talked about a little bit ago, just this last summer, we finished phase 3 of the program. So we have 43 different weather camera sites throughout the state right now. And during the installation of those, we did have airports sign an intergovernmental agreement with us, where we are on, as the division, on the hook for any business items associated with that for the first 3 years of the program. We're still trying to see where to go with that. But in addition to that, actually all the Verizon air cards at every one of those 43 sites, we plan to pay as the division going forward. And that accounts for, I believe, right at $24,000 a year period for those cards. So it's just the ongoing maintenance of those. And again, we are actually having quite a bit of money left over in phase 3, where we're going to get a bunch of spare cameras and spare equipment as well. So I don't see us using a lot of that $50,000 of the Verizon invoices, but that is what that program is for, is to continually maintain all 43 of those sites.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions?
So Todd, I know that, we're gonna deal with this more later, and it's not involved in, incredible, we're gonna prove the key. The economic impact study is such a critical tool, becoming critical for all of us. Leadership. When you just, once we do undertake that, it will be probably doing good steps.
So Scott, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but I believe we're purely starting with procurement we kind of see that the November, December time period to get a consultant on board to help us go through that process. We see really all of twenty twenty-four being used as data collection to get all that 23 data. But I would hope it's going to be mid-year 2025 that would actually come out. But until we get someone on board and see how that process is going to work, I can't give you a whole lot.
That's understand. The data collection is important, but, you know, sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
It's important.
Yeah, we're really excited to get that out as well, because that is definitely one of the things that comes out of our office that is used all over the state. We continue to hear people referencing that. So, yeah, we're excited to kick that off, and again, Scott's work, our office will be running that again.
Great, thank you.
Thank you for the
Any
question.
other questions? Okay, we'll look for a motion to approve the fiscal year 2024 statewide initiatives budget request of totaling $3,125,000.
So moved.
Second,
I'll second.
all right. Discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Great, there you go.
Thank you.
Rolling Tide. Next item, number 12 on the agenda is the CAOA education grant request. Todd, did you want to take us down that one?
I swear I won't. And Steve, you gave me some little rush for less money. We got that right. I don't really come in like very good talk about a lot more fun, with this. So, but yeah, Steve and some others talked about the grant to CAOA to do some additional education courses. This last year, we helped them as well put on a airfield marketing course down in Colorado Springs. That was a huge success. I never thought that many people would show up to talk about airfield marketing. But again, a great program put on. And so they have approached us again to see if we can kind of continue that partnership with CAOA. And they have requested a $45,000 grant from us, and that would be 90% us, 10% CAOA, so it would be in total a $50,000 program. And I think we did talk about it a little bit. We're not quite sure whether it's going to be a airfield electrical program or an ASOS class. I didn't know if that did get defined yet. But again, I think it's a great opportunity to help our education aspect of our statute. And so we are looking for approval of that $45,000 for the CAOA grant application.
Okay, any questions?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. This is just a technical question. I don't have to recuse myself from this to us since I'm a airport representative of the board.
One thing.
We do have a form without you, so it may make sense to do yourself.
Okay, I'll do that, but I'll real quick in support of it.
Okay,
So my question is something along, if we want to do this, does that mean we don't have much? I think a motion.
second. All right, discussion. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
One abstention. Anybody opposed? Okay, there you go, $45,000.
Thank you.
Okay, so now let's jump into program updates. Penny, talk about education and outreach.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the board. In 2022, 8 organizations were awarded the Aviation Education and Workforce Development Grants, as well as 3 airports receiving flight simulators for the one-time flight sim initiative. Division supported 12 individual events, plus numerous monthly functions and EAA legal practice. This past Saturday, we did a build an airplane showcase at Wings, and there was 400 people in attendance, lots and lots of kids from on March 11th, we are hosting Meet the Planes and Pilots, the pilots and planes of the Colorado Airport Directly Aero Sharks at Wings of Rocks exploration of flight. So that will be exciting. We'll have Ryan B's RV7 out there. We're going to have flight lights, lifeguard one, as well as care, and a couple of ladies. We're also putting for the referees and trucks. And I'm also requesting that any airports planning an aviation event this year. If you can go onto our website, go to the Colorado Aviation Events calendar and put that on our calendar. Or you can also just give me an email as well, just to kind of let us know what's going on, around your neck of the woods, as well as, trying to, reduce the number of conflicts, on the weekends. So, no overlaps for us, okay? So,
And even just for clarifying, I don't think they populated the calendar, they just have.
right, so you can just request it online and then they'll just go up, yeah, we'll put it out there on the calendar. But if you can do that, it would be wonderful. That's it.
Well, thank you, Eddie. Melanie, you want to give us a intro update?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and members of the board. So, events that I attended, since our last board meeting in December, I had the opportunity to go with some of you to the Gunnison Airport Terminal opening, which was really cool to see the first geothermal terminal in Oregon. I actually have a photo of this of it. I have a little picture of a fire, but no actual fire. And then other events, of course, this event that I'm here with you today, which I'm very excited to be here. Projects that I've been working on. If you may recall, the last board meeting, I shared with you a project about fuel vendors, data for the past 5 years for Denver International Airport. And so I've done the same analysis for all of Colorado commercial service airports. I've also found updates to the legislators for the 2022 Colorado Legislative Districts and Airports brochure, which has been uploaded, and there are copies for everyone on the tables for you to look at. That is now out for the public. I also helped our outreach specialist Eddie contact other state divisions to find out if they had aviation education programs and if they would be interested in a collaborative work group. And so that is in the works. Currently, a project being done for the CAOA. I've also compared purchase orders in SAP and RIMS to find discrepancies between the state amount remaining, which there were none. And finally, I collected data on FedMatch and state bids for the past 7 years to help to use for a historically backed forecast to use for future monthly expenditures for grants. That is all I have today. Thank you.
Well, excellent, Melanie. It just seems like you're just really kind of bored. No, I think you're turning into probably one of the most attractive, appealing interns in the state, internship program in the state of Colorado. So nice work. It's like you're making the most of it, so it's great. Any other questions? Any questions? Okay. Thanks for that update. Let's talk about this in action item, this USDA contract amendment request. Todd.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I will say it's the last time I'm requesting money today.
So it should be in for the year for you, sir.
So what this is, each year we contract with USDA to perform wildlife services at our airports throughout the state. And that was actually one of those statewide missions that you guys just approved recently. But we're actually requesting an increase in the amount for FY 2023. So, and I will bring up Jonathan Matthews with USDA. He's our certified wildlife biologist, is in the audience as well. He's here today. Came to us and said, hey, there's a lot going on in the state. We need to amend our budget. And so we kind of came up with part of the issue is there was a wildlife hazard assessment that I can't say was super expected, but it's one of the things that is put for this contract. And so that was just taking up quite a bit of the time. And so there wasn't as much budget room left for some other things. And then on top of that, it turns out there is a very large increase in population of burrowing animals in the state as well. So mostly prairie dogs, but there's a couple others out there that I don't truly understand. So, so we've been working diligently with the USDA to figure out how to move forward, because we want to make sure this program does provide the needed service at our airports, and have our airports not have to contract individually with USDA to provide these services. And so, USDA did a great job coming up with a detailed scope of what else needs to be done. And so, the airports that would not have been able to have mammal reduction, I will say, were Centennial, Northern Colorado Regional, Erie Municipal, Pueblo, Yucca Valley, and Rangeley. Those were going to be the airports that you just wouldn't have been able to fund without this. But today I am requesting approval of an additional $15,000 on the already approved $200,000 for the FY 2023 USDA wildlife. And so this will allow us to actually help all of those airports to get all of that done. And it's only a $15,000 increase over the 200, but we're actually going to increase the contract by about $35,000. But we only contracted less than the original 200 we actually approved. So. But yeah, looking for a motion to approve an additional $15,000 for that program.
Are there any questions about that from the board? Okay. So yeah, look for a motion to approve the additional $15,000 for the fiscal year 2023 wildlife management statewide initiative.
So moved. Second.
Discussion?
Mr. Chairman, just as an aside, some years back when I worked for the Department of Natural Resources, there was an effort to list black-tailed prairie dogs in the Endangered Species Act. And there was an aerial survey of the eastern slope, and it turned out the prairie dogs were everywhere. So you're confirming those results. So thank you.
Well, it's a relief to know that. So excellent. Okay, well, where am I? Are we? I got my motions. Okay, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Anybody opposed? Okay, there you go. Thank you, Jonathan, for all your hard work. Get this rolling, so you did great. All right, let's see. The next item is a division strategic plan. Director.
We'll just keep this very short in the interest of time, Mr. Chair. We do have a plan, and it's very strategic. That's all I have. Firstly, all tongue in cheek, I think this is what we call in 2021, the board adopted a new division strategic plan that sort of outlines the things that we work on internally over a 2 to 3 year period. I won't go into detail. Our current plan has 4 goals, 19 underlying objectives on how we tackle those goals. We're making great progress on those. Summary sheets of the action plans are in your packet. And for all of you that are interested, the board packet they have is always posted on our website before the meeting. So all of this is available on our website, but we're making really outstanding progress on all of this. It's a team lift. We appreciate it. We'll have more to update you with again, CAOA in June. We're on a every 6-month update cycle with those. So any questions on that, just let us know. But moving forward.
Excellent. Thank you, Dave. And then item 13, 15, we have the legend himself to talk about remote towers, Mr. William E. Payne.
Well, good morning, everybody. I just, this update will be fairly quick. Our vendor is going through a total redesign of the system. They're going from the 1080p HD cameras to 4K cameras. That's going to be a fairly ambitious change. From the first installation of that, or testing what we're going to get on. The point will evaluate, they're making that change because initially the visual acuity issues we were having with the 4K cameras, I mean, the HD cameras were the problematic. So they're going to immediately install 4K cameras and 4K display. So that was our this March. The question. Good. Thank you.
Nice. That's the briefest report I think we've ever heard. Okay, let's go into item number 14. This is a action item
legislative issues. Dave, you want to kind of give us an overview?
Sure, thank you. Just a couple of things. Last year was pretty quiet in the state legislative front related to aviation. This year shaping up to be a lot different. In most of a good way, it seems like. So there are currently 4 pieces of legislation that we expect will be moving through the state legislature a couple of weeks ago. A lot of collaboration, Colorado Aviation Business Association has initiated some of these. I think the one that we're most excited about that CAOA is really taking the lead on is sustainable advancement in aviation tax credits. This is really cool because a lot of times legislation will start and the legislator wants to do something and they never talk to anybody else about it. But this has really been a collaborative watch this bill come together between the governor's office, the energy office, industry, airlines, CAOA. So it's been really cool that basically this pending bill would provide a scaled income tax credit for investments made in Colorado business that researches, develops, produces, or distributes sustainable aviation fuel. So that's pretty cool. Right now, I think it's kind of even talking sustainable aviation fuel that is sold in Colorado. Texas. It'd be really cool to find a way to here and support that. We as a division haven't talked directly in that fight. I love sustainable aviation fuel. It's taxed just like regular jet fuel. We don't have to change our funding mechanisms, so that's good. We'll talk a little bit about potential board support for that bill later that week's resolution here in just a second. The other one that is a bring back from last year is it to make it a classic felony to unlawfully aim a laser aircraft, currently not a state penalty for that. It's a federal issue about that, but there's no state laws, of course, when that makes sense from a safety perspective. Another bill that's working its way through would make flight training, commercial flight training eligible for 529 recall 529 health savings. So kind of an opener there. I was actually surprised to learn it's not already like it's going to a college or university, so that's kind of interesting. And then the last one is the modernization and updates to the existing state statute on airport authorities. It would update some of the spending limits that are kind of archaic and sort of streamline the airport authority building or airports along with the government. Update, but that's really some things that are coming down the state house today. I see Kelly Sloan from CAOA is back there. Kelly, if you got anything to add on updates on those bills, and then we've got a meeting tomorrow to talk about that. Appreciate all of you and CAOA have done to really take the lead on the sustainable aviation fuel piece. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Dave. Just a couple clarifications on the first bill, on the tax credit bill. There is 2 parts to that bill. The first part is the tax credit to airports, FBOs, or businesses for the purchase of like aircraft equipment. So you can use that we're anticipating that in the near to mid future, gas powered equipment like that could be made illegal, or it might have sale in the state and trying to meet our climate goals. So we're just trying to have that and have tax credit for it. And also the second tax credit is not just for us, it's for any alternative aviation fuel or power plants. So electric, hydrogen, whatever else is next big thing. So we're expecting that to be introduced next Tuesday, 7th. We have a good bipartisan sponsorship on that. This minority rules is kind of taking the lead, but President Bird, that's going to exceed. And in the Senate, we have Senator Bridges, who was just works in the Mayor report, is also on JPC, and Senator Listen down. We have a stakeholder meeting tomorrow with the Energy Office and and laser strikes bill was introduced yesterday. It's Senate Bill 95, and like they said, it's a maybe class 6 felony. Right now, we're not going to be pushed back officially from ACLU and defense bar. And last year, when we were looking at it as a class 2 misdemeanor, we pushed back defense bar, petty offense, and for the transportation staff. might not be terribly professional, we are kind of something else, but I read about the calendar this year and it's really, so. How it works out. That said, it's still gonna be a little bit of a heavy lifting that we Valley, around the books of the state, so. Again, we have some good bipartisan sponsorship there. Most of my spots were on negative, respect judiciary committees, and they're pretty motivated, on the station, so we'll see how that goes. And then a little bit of an update on 529, I did a meeting with College Invest and the Department of Higher Education yesterday. So it turns out that if you're going through the university, yes, most universities you offer credits for the flight training, so that's covered. We were trying to expand that to flight schools, you're not going to university. Well, it turns out the state can't do that. It's a 529 federal plan that the federal government needs to put that, we kind of expand the plan. So what we're going to end up doing instead is we're going to do Congress. We're talking to a newly minted Congressman in Brother Patterson. And I'm talking to Representative Sandberg, so Mr. Green and I more here, see if we can get something done on the federal. Let's bring back the little beyond. Aside from that, we have been hearing some rumors about a bill that might want to monitor lead levels at airports. So we'll keep an eye on that. And I do know there's a fuel bill that's going to be coming up next week. But aviation is supposed to be excluded from that. They're talking beforehand. So we've dealt with them before on aviation fuel. So that's one advantage being down the line talking to everybody is they sometimes include bad things before we have fun. So I think that's about it. Unless anybody has any questions.
Very good.
Yes.
I just have a clarifying question. So on the laser strikes, I know that in 2012, there was a federal law passed on the laser strikes. Now we're passing it as a state,
Right.
or as a felony.
Yes.
I'm just kind of curious as to the definition of which takes precedence over other and why there's a need for state being for federal.
Right, so currently, if they do catch something, that's because it's not a state offense, federal offense, local law enforcement, all they're limited to, they can confiscate the laser pointer and say, yeah, we got you, when they may or may not, they one FBI agent in the state that handles aviation stuff, but quite frankly, he's most concerned about people being bricks the flight rooms, so, a lot of these are just simply are prosecuted. If it's a state offense, then that gives local law enforcement the ability to make an arrest and then local district attorneys to prosecute. So, and we talked to the FBI last year, asking what you want, and they asked, yes, we would love to see this in every state, and we would help all that as well. So that's part. Anything else?
Okay, nice work.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Okay, so we. Resolution.
So that's, Mr. Chair, that ties in with the CAB's annual advocacy resolution and just a little background. Obviously, state employees don't get lobbying or advocating for things like that at the state house, but you all can do that. And so every year we have the CAB adopt an annual advocacy resolution that outlines your positions on issues affecting airport aviation in Colorado. It's a great tool for me when I would ask, what do you all think about this? What's your position on this? I don't have to go hold you and ask. I've already got that ready to go. And then nothing stopped me from saying, well, CAB supports this or opposes that. So it's a great tool to do that. Just a quick run through of this year's resolution. You following pages of 30 over, continued support for the industry state goal of becoming carbon neutral by 2050. Support for the legislation at the state level that would discourage and penalize laser strikes on aircraft. Interestingly enough, on that, this is sidebar. Every day, the division staff gets summary of all the different incidents, accidents, medical events, laser strikes that have happened in Alaska, Western Pacific, and West Mountain region. On average, I would say that report has probably 20 laser strikes a day in the Western US, so it's a really common problem. And I've never had one on any pilot or laser strike. I hear they're really dangerous. Why in the city? So anyway, that's an area where continued support for modernization of the PSC program. and continued support for reform of the FAA's non-primary entitlement program. That's going to be the FAA reauthorization coming this year. As chair of the CAO, that's a big platform for all the state aviation officials across the country. It's always been a little bit striking to me, because Centennial Airport is the exact same primary entitlement as this. And I think there's some proposals out there that start to structure that a little bit differently and rationalize that based on the side of your airport. So we haven't supported any particular reform, but I think some of the platforms that can accommodate that. So certainly some opportunities to do better. I will give a shout out to Todd over here on my left. He's got a real knack for this, and has done some basic research on costs and what it would potentially look like to do some of these reforms. So thank you, Todd, for that. So, everything else is pretty much straightforward. A couple items were removed. There was one that we removed that was eliminated financial disincentives for retiring controllers. We supported a bill that would remove those financial disincentives. That became part of law last year with the omnibus bill, so that would be removed. It's now permitted. The other one was that support for one-time general fund recapitalization of the SIV program. We did it ourselves, because we didn't do that anymore. And that was really good. The other thing we've added this year is things, there's a revised resolution in front of you today that includes our support for modernization of state statutes on airport authorities. And it also includes support for the FAA industry Eagle initiative, the eliminating the gasoline lead emissions program to get rid of low lead by 2030. So we've added support for that initiative. So that's a quick overview, Mr. Chair.
Any questions on the board? Okay, with that, look for a motion to approve resolution 2023-02 outlining the Aeronautical Board's advocacy and legislative positions for 2023. So moved. Seconded?
Second.
Okay, and discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And is there anyone that opposes? Great. Got your advocacy.
Thank you. We'll get you a copy.
Nice to work, Todd. Yeah, very good job and really good team and put this together. Now, this isn't the first time we've seen this. This is kind of an evolution. We did talk about, we have been talking about this. It is on our agenda usually months in advance. So nice work. That's why nobody's surprised. So, okay, that would be, we'll go to the next one, which is the annual board member conflict of interest statements. Caitlin, did you want to talk about that? Yes.
Sure, I would be on it. The conflict of interest is like what we have for 2009 performance audit by the state auditor's office. It allows us to help track what other conflicts we have every year, so we can help you whenever you say you can be. It all in your stuff. Don't say every one of them is compliant to you, so you just let them out and find them and take them out. If you have questions, come here.
Sounds good. Thank you, Caitlin. Any questions? Okay. Very good, and let's go to item number 16 on the proposed calendar. Review our next few meetings there. Dave?
Thanks, Mr. Chair. I do have one acting item as a change under 16.1. The calendar you all adopted last year would have our regular meeting in April on Wednesday, April 12th. But as we talked about, we're trying to get together with the Transportation Commission to tell all the members. It's always good to have them with them and get them to see what we're doing. Actually confirmed yesterday that the Transportation Commission would like to do that on the 19th. That's their regular workshop day at CDOT headquarters. So the 19th at noon works for all of you for lunch or meeting at 1 at CDOT headquarters at next Mile High Stadium. Would like to move a motion to move the April 12th meeting to April 19th.
Okay. For a motion? Seconded? Second. Okay, discussion, that working in place calendar. All those in favor say aye. I think anybody's opposed to that change. Great, moved it to the 19th.
Then our next meeting will be in conjunction with the CAOA Spring Conference, June 21 to 23, as we get closer, we'll work out and put the time on the agenda.
Okay. Excellent. Let's go to our final item, other matters by the public and members. Is there anything, John, did you raise your hand?
I did. I think we had somebody from Colorado Pilots Association.
Oh, yes.
Had something he wanted to add. Hi, James.
Hey,
Let's get your microphone. Hang on just a second. We can hear you.
sure.
I'm in Cooper with Colorado Aeronautical Association, actually, to be the airport chair with them. So. Contact and start getting that program off the ground. Mainly, we are just trying to get some. A little bit more.
Very good. Any, Ray?
Morning, everyone. Rachel's on the screen. Angela set the bar pretty high for CAOA last year. But we'd like to welcome all of you, as was mentioned, we're looking at a calendar, June 21st to 23rd, down at Colorado Springs. For the spring marathon, and 2 points over the next 2 days. For anybody who is interested in offering a sector or wants to talk about potential sectors, I'd like to hear from you. I'll be every year. Also for consider showing their way and sponsoring the sponsor of the conference. Hopefully, look for anything over the city and the airport.
Well, thank you, and I think we have Ray that would like to say something.
Thank you very much. I'm Ray Hawkins. Some of you may know me. I'm the seaplane guy. Everybody has been talking about seaplanes in Colorado and wondering why the seaplanes in Michigan. After all, it's not very much water here. Actually, there's 103 lakes in Colorado with adequate size operated seaplanes. Right now, we only have 2 of those lakes. I am been in aviation for over 50 years. In high school, I was a flight instructor, and I ended up going to various different organizations, including the Air Force, where I was an air traffic controller, and also as a radar maintenance guy, and also with the FAA, where I maintained and operated the ERIDS programs, the ERAM program, and the STARS program for the approach controls. I just recently last year retired from the FAA, so now I've got time to do the things that really need to be done. Colorado is the only state in the union that does not allow seaplanes to operate on public waters. The agency that is stopping us is the Colorado State Parks, and we've been in negotiations with them for over 12 years to be able to get past their prohibition against seaplanes. We have recently come into some information about the prohibition. Back in 83, the state parks introduced their regulation that said at that time that you could not operate a seaplane on land or water of the state except within designated areas. An administrative addition to that came in about 2005, where the state Secretary of State changed a little bit of the wording. We changed it from "it will be unlawful" to "it will be prohibited." As part of that change, they removed the sentence or the paragraph that said except within designated areas. So our argument to them is going to be throughout the year that regulation was never intended to be a prohibition. It was intended to help control the activity. Now, with the wording that was done through administrative changes and without any kind of public comment or any kind of organizational input, has become a prohibition. I see this as a problem because a lot of things like this can happen to you at your airports. I know that there's a lot of stuff about individuals that have complaints about operations at your airport due to noise, due to various other things. If we allow little things like this to happen, then they can chip away at blocks, the foundation of our airport and aviation system to where we have nothing left and it just crumbles beneath us. I don't want that to happen. My life has been aviation. I don't want my life to have been. Any questions about sequence? Two of the things that I want to add that I neglected to add are three small, very small things. Colorado has two seaplane bases. The first seaplane base ever to be designated in the state of Colorado. That's what we did. They also have the first seaplane pilot ever to be trained and certified in the state of Colorado, and that's me. The seaplane rating is probably one of the cheapest and easiest ratings to get, except in the state of Colorado. For approximately $2,500, anybody who has a aircraft rating of any kind can get a seaplane rating, typically in a day or two. I have been at this for 12 years and spent over $40,000 in my own money to help get to the point that we are now. I don't recommend this path. In fact, I'd like to talk to Todd about some of the money.
Yeah.
I would love to take questions. Anybody has any questions, or I'll be standing in the back and talk to anybody.
Thank you very much, Rick. Is there any other matters? Yep, I see someone.
Well, I just want to, as we transition from the CAOA meeting over to the CAOA conference session, want to let everybody know. Just to come meeting here, if you go down the ramp and keep going straight, that's what the restrooms are. In between that, in the lower area, we're just outside the doors here, is where lunch is being served. So if you want to go and help yourself to lunch, you can this from.
Thank you, Mike. Any other members, any from the board members? Yes.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I neglected, I had one more subject to bring up from my report. I was approached by a Colorado pilot about a month or so ago who had some interest. There's actually there's a couple of things, but in Kansas, they do a Kansas air tour to a bunch of different towns, airports in Kansas. And there's also an air race, a women's air race that goes through the country that goes through Kansas. And his interest was trying to do something like that in Colorado. So I'm just passing the word on if there's any organizations, anybody that's interested in either doing some kind of an air tour or working with the Air Race Classic organization that does the women's air race to bring it through Colorado. There might be some interest in some people that might help out. And I'm sure if there is an air tour, there are a lot of airports that would participate in that. So I'm just kind of passing the word along. There's some interest. So excellent.
Casey, I think you have somebody raise their hand. Yeah. Hi. Yes, you got a microphone to you.
No, I hate this thing. To the point of the Airways Classic, we are funding right now for the Airways Classic to have the campus and for comments. So, trying to. And June 24th, terminus will be at the building.
Oh, thank you. Excellent.
Thanks, Lucy.
Okay, anybody else? Yes, Sean?
Thanks. I'm Sean Setter, Communications Manager here at the division. It's that time of the year, it's the 2023 aviation publications are out. So we got the airport directory, the aeronautical chart with a brand new, updated, new photography in it. There are a bunch of boxes back there, so please take those back to your airport, I'll even help you load them up in your car. The other things that we've updated is the 2022 annual report, that should be floating around here soon. And then this is probably the biggest, probably a good tool for you tonight for the legislative session. Big updates on here with new legislators, new boundaries, your legislator may have changed, so check that out on this. So that's it. Oh, and then aerial photography for all your airports are updated too. I sent out links to that. If you didn't get it, come across, contact me. I'll just make sure to get your photos. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Sean. Okay, anyone else? Seeing none? Anyone from the board? Seeing none, we are adjourned. Thank you very much for attending. Appreciate your time.